Welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy and our continuing saga of the making of Mildred's roses. I am creating this journal in conjunction with Lindsey Zenor's nevermorecreations17.com, and it is a marketplace challenge, and I will link her information below so you can find out more about that. So here we go. And in this video, we are going to look at putting in pockets plus a few other things. And I have already gone through, just for the sake of time and saving myself from editing, I've gone through and marked all the places that I want to create a pocket in this journal. Right now I have these weights on here, helping this book to train itself to lie a little flatter. And the ribbons here are part of the closure, and I will have a video playlist linked down below showing how I created that closure, and be sure to check that out. So I'm going to take these off. These are actually coasters, but they're heavy, heavy. And I have found that they work really well in my crafts for holding things down that I don't want to just sit here and do this. Or when I'm in the process of making something that keeps rolling up, like using wrapping paper or different things like that, it is also helpful then. I am going to open it up, and right here, I have just pulled the ribbon down, and I didn't realize it, but Post-it notes apparently have a shelf life. These are not very sticky at all. Hopefully they stick enough and long enough that I can get through and put these pockets in with you. So here is the first Post-it note, and this one's simple enough. This is just a pocket that I need to make sure and put glue right here to seal the side. Now, I have made pockets like this before that I have left this side open just in case you wanted to put something in there that was a little bit longer than what the pocket itself was. However, because of the way this journal ties, there's not going to be that many things that are sticking out the side, because I don't want them to get bent when the ribbons are tied. So I'm going to find one of my small clips here, and I'm going to put a couple of them on just to hold that closed while I'm working on other parts of the journal. I love these itty bitty clips, and I got them on Amazon, and I will link those below as well. And I keep them in this jar, and I'll just pour some out so that they're handy and I'm not going to have to keep reaching up and over. Let's see, our next one is right here. And as much as I enjoyed making this page, and I kind of like the way it turned out, it simply is not sticking right here. And what I plan to do on this page is to put this little vellum pocket. You can still see the stenciling and the page behind it, but it also helps to seal that flap down. And I think it just gives it a little bit of extra to look at. I am going to use my red sticky tape. I'm going to swipe one of these coasters back over to help hold this open while I put the sticky tape on the vellum pocket. Now this is one that I got at Tuesday Morning for $1.49. And I really like using it with the vellum. So I am going to just go all the way around, because once you pull the red line, once you pull the red backing, the red plastic backing off, it does not show. Now I do have to get scissors because it won't just tear like washi tape does. All right, so let's move this back down here where I can reach it. And I want to come up just a little from the bottom. I'm going to put the seam from the glassine bag right on the seam where that line is, so that it doesn't, so that it kind of camouflages that line. And I'm going to tear that just a little bit down there and come back and hit it with some ink. And that will kind of make it look like I did that on purpose and not like I'm trying to cover something up. There is that, and I'll come back and I'll put something in that pocket. But that's an easy enough pocket. It's already made for you. You just have to glue it on. And that's coming a little loose there too. My goodness. I'm going to have to figure out something to do with those loose corners. I think that's actually the only page I'm having that problem with. If you saw one of the videos earlier in the making of, you'll know that not all of my pages are edged or glued all the way to the edge. That's because I wanted to leave space in case I wanted to put lace or something at the edge of the page. That's a flip that I already did, and here's a pocket that for some reason I only glued on the one side. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down now. Oh my goodness, I need to quit putting the lid over there because it keeps rolling off into my tray. At least it's rolling into the tray. But I need not to put it over there. And again, I'm going to grab some clothespins to hold that down. And I think on the top, I did glue the top. I must have just missed that one because there was no glue down there whatsoever. And we'll let that dry. I have another post-it note here, and for this pocket, I'm simply folding this flap over. I'm going to put my bead down the middle that I think helps strengthen that fold right there, especially since this is an avocado dyed paper. I think that the fold needs that little reinforcement of the glue. So we're going to fold that down and put some clips on. This is going to be really thick until I take these clips off. So I think that when I start the second signature on the pockets, I will go through first and remove all the clips from the first signature so that it lies a little better. See, this is one of them where I did not glue all the way to the edge because I knew that I would probably want to put lace or something in between those layers. All right, here's another pocket, and I prepped this one, but for some reason I didn't prep it all the way. I need to take off this white edge here. I'm going to take off a little bit of that because that's too much, I think, on that edge. I'm going to scoot this over, get my ruler out, and I am going to tear those edges. And in this set of digitals that Lindsey put in the requirements for the Marketplace Challenge this month, there was one set that had white roses. There were no white roses in all the other sets. And so I'm trying, again, for continuity's sake, to get some of those together. So this one is opposite of this one so that it actually looks like a set. And I know that this is just going to tuck into that corner. So I'm just going to put glue around these two edges. And I think that this is only two, since this is only two sides, I think this actually qualifies as a tuck. So that goes in with the pockets plus. Because if it had one more side glued, it would be a pocket. All right, so let's get that lined up there. And it's a little wonky there, so I'll have to fix that later. But I needed to line up these two straightish edges. Now I'll clip these on to hold the pocket while it dries. And then right opposite, I had another flag because I wanted to put this envelope on this page. I'm going to do that. The back of this is still blank, and I am going to get my my red line tape again. And I am going to just put it here because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this part yet. I can always come back and add more tape or glue to that. So I'm just going to put it on this side of that fold line. Okay, I thought that there it is. Just lost track of where it was. Alrighty. And we'll pull the red plastic protective strip off. And align that. I could scoot this over, couldn't I? And align this right there. And fold it over. And just putting some pressure right there. I'm knocking things all over the place. And there we go. There's another pocket right there. And that one I don't have to put clips on. Let's see, next flag is right here. It just fell down on the inside. I like the way that this journal card that was in the set picked up on the pinks and the browns in here and also the yellows in this paper. And it's going to be a straightforward pocket. So I'm going to glue on these three sides, and I'm going to center that on the page, right smack in the middle. So I'm going to center this, get it straight. And that one's pretty simple, straightforward, glued in pocket. Now this is one where I had to finagle a little bit because I wanted this page and this page to back up together so I could just trace around the finial or fussy cut around these, I don't know, scrolls. But I didn't quite do my math right. And so in order to fix it, in order to still have a pocket, because that's how come I was doing it, I went ahead and I glued vellum onto the back side. My signature center is right here, but you're not going to see it because this will become a pocket. And again, I'm going to get out my red line tape. And sometimes you can get this at the Dollar Tree. It's not real hard to find, and it's not real expensive. And now I'm going to carefully make sure that they line up, which they should, because I've measured very carefully on this. Doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way, but I measured and measured and measured. And there we go. And there's my pocket. And that also hides the signature. So there is that one. Now, the next flag is hiding behind that card. And this is again going to be a side tuck. And this was the paper that was torn. And so I went ahead and covered it with that washi tape that goes beautifully with this. You would almost think it was on purpose, although I know that they are not from the same place. And I am going to just glue this on two sides so that if something hangs over a little bit here, it's got room. So this one's going to have a little extra as well because I'm going to put some washi tape on there as an accent. So these two. I have to mark with my fingers which sides not to put glue on. Because I have been known many times to put glue on the exact opposite place of where I wanted it to be. That is no good. All right. And because I know I'm going to come along later and do a little washi collage, I'm trying to keep in mind that I want this washi down here to show, and that I'm probably going to have some washi on this side as well. So I'm going to burnish that down. And I'm actually going to come back and put some glue up here because it doesn't seem to be sticking to the washi very well. So I may have to come back and do something else to help secure that there. Now I do not have a paper clip that will reach in far enough for that, so this will be across my fingers and hope that it stays. If not, I can always glue it again. Let's see, the next flag is this is going to be a pocket, but I need to back this with something because that is old book page and it will not be very strong. So I'm going to take this ivory paper and I am going to back this sheet with it, and I'm going to make sure that I've got it lined up really tight on that edge, just like that. And then I can come back and I can tear along here. This is ivory, so I don't have a problem with just leaving it white. But I do want to, or not white, unadorned, I guess. It's just going to be this little edging anyway, so it should be fine. Let's get that in there. All right, so I am going to get my glue stick out. This was one of my stamp off prints from a stamp that I have used elsewhere in this journal. And I just really liked the way it looked on my stamp off paper. So I tore off around it. And I think it's going to be a great pocket. I think it's going to be really pretty. So let's get those lined up right on the edge. Okay. And now I'm going to come and tear around this. Having this paper behind it, even though it's not a strong paper on its own either, will give enough strength to, by having the two layers, to make a nice pocket. Now yes, everything is getting a little crinkled up when I do this, but it's kind of how I have to do it in order to get that tear to not look like the little chompy chomps that looks like little tiny teeth have been going after the corner, because I really don't like that look. All right. So now I know that I'm going to tuck that right into the fold of the page there. I'm going to snug that right up into the edge there. And there we go. I think that looks really good. Next one. Oh, here we go. This is from my Digi kit of Faded Roses. And I printed these on a business card sheet and then just tore the edges off. So they already have that rough edge. This is one section of that image that I was able to piece together. I'm going to make 3 pockets here. So they are all going to open to the top. This is my center one, and I will start with it just because that way I can get the other 2 aligned with it. And again, those are in too far really for me to use the clips, so I just hope that it lays flat enough. So if I do something that we've repeated in the front, I will either skip it or just zip past it. If I do something different, I will go ahead and slow it down and share with you. And here we are. The first thing that I really need to do on this one is something I need to share with you. So this is a flip out. I am going to put some writing paper inside of that, but I also want to do something here. Since I am centering this in the page, I'm going to have part of it hanging over and I do not want it fastened down. So I'm going to just use my thumbnail and make a little indentation so that I know not to put that tape past that point. And I will also want to put tape across this part so that it's good and secured. All right, so I'm going to very carefully first scoot this over so I'm not stretching so far, making sure of where my tape strip is and finding center. And there we go. And now we've got a nice pocket there, a little bit of accent, and I like it. I will go ahead and start talking here because this is where my fabric sample upholstery comes into play. And this is going to be a pocket that slides in from the top. And I know that I want to put lace around the edge here because of that pinked edge. It's just this simple Dollar Tree lace. But once again, I don't want a lot of things hanging out the sides because of the way that it closes. First thing I am going to do is glue this flap down at the top. And I think that I need to get some of this bulk out. So I am going to grab my heavier scissors and I'm just going to cut right straight across here. To eliminate some of the paper and just a little bit of the fabric so that the book closes just a little bit better. Not worried about this being a real straight cut because that's going to be on the inside anyway. All right, I am going to try to figure out the best place to put that. I think that I need to reinforce the top of this pocket before I glue down. I'm just going to take this piece of scrap and I'm going to glue it on this paper here at the sides. Now this is from an upholstery fabric sample book. It has this paper on it that is supposed to help keep it laying straight in the sample. And sometimes it's helpful in a journal. It depends on what you're needing at the moment. Sometimes it's not helpful and it's in the way. And it's kind of a little bit of both in this situation. So I am going to close that over so that I can make sure that I've got it aligned. And then I will open it back up because I am going to glue this. This probably would have been easier to do had I done it before I sewed this particular piece into the signature. So right now I'm having to do a little finagling, but it'll be okay. Now I'm going to glue on here on this paper. You know what? That paper's trying to come off. Well, I just wasted that strip of glue, but it is actually helpful to not have it in my way. So instead, I'm going to come down here and glue on this paper, and then I will fold the silk over onto that protective sheet. I hope you're following what I'm saying, because I don't know how else to describe it. Sometimes you do what you do and you don't know why, you just do. So for right now, I am going to go ahead and clip that down and let it dry for a moment. This is going to be a corner tuck right here. So I am going to go ahead, glue its edges, take my little flag off of there. I'm going to line this up. I'm actually coming in 1/4 of an inch from the edge because I like that torn bit there. and so I want it to show. And it looks like there's still a lot of white space left in this journal, and I don't really like white space. I am not a fan, but I will be coming back and doing decorating to those at a later point. I'm just trying as much as I can in these videos to keep to a single point, so that if you want to see what to do with white pages, if you want to see how to rip a page, if you want to see how I do clusters and collage, or what the difference is, or all those different things, that way you can go to the video that you want to get the information from. All right, and then this is going to be another pocket. This is a piece of this ribbon from down here. And I am simply going to put glue around these 4 sides, leaving this 5th side open. And now I'm going to stop for a moment because I have got so many things in here that need to dry with these clips on that it's just taking up all of my space to work. So I will give these a little bit, and you will not even know I was gone had I not mentioned it. All right, let's see how the drying process has gone. I'll get a few things out of the way here. All right, let's go to the beginning, and I believe in the second signature, this was actually our first page that was glued. All right, looks like everything is doing well so far, so let's continue. Let's see, and here I am going to do a triple pocket. Now I'm going to leave this one this length, but this one, that would be a whole lot of waste right there if I just made a crease where the top of the yellow card would hit. I'm going to go just past that. And tear my page, and that is going to tuck back in behind there as a pocket. And now I actually have a third pocket, whoops, can't turn that over like that, that I'm going to place like so. And this is going to overhang because it goes with the page on the back of it. Go ahead and figure out where those cards are supposed to be. See, I think I was going 1/4 of an inch up. Yes, right about there. So the first one to get glued down will be this one. And I'm gluing on all 3 sides and snugging that up right to the inside of the signature. Just like that. Now this one, I need to do some roughing of the edges because it was pre-cut. And stay down there, corner. And I do want it just a little rougher, at least on the top. Actually, since this one's overlapping the page, I want to make sure that I rough up the overlap as well. I might as well just do all three sides. Well, I say all three sides that'll be showing because the fourth side will be tucked in there. So I'm going to need to measure where my overhang is so that I don't put glue on that side. So I'm going to put glue here, here, here. Snug that right up to the inside. Press down. And then this one, all the sides are showing, so I'll just go ahead and do all 4 of these. And I want to place this one with 1/4 of an inch away from that corner. There we go, I like that. So I am going to need to use my bigger clothespins to reach in further. All right, so that is a triple pocket page. Now this one is a pocket and it's a busy one. I'm going to get my other coasters here and give myself a little support on the back cover so that this lays a little flatter because I've got all those clothespins over there. And what I want to do on this page, this envelope, this gold envelope, is going to wrap around the edge of that page. And it'll look like that on the back. Now the envelope itself will flip open just like that so that I can put more stuff inside of the envelope. And since that needs to go down first before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and get the red line tape out. I made that just a little too long, so I'm going to trim some of that corner of the tape off. There we go. Get my tool here and get the red protective liner off. Whoops, get off of there. There we go. You should see my floor. No, you should not see my floor. It's a horrible mess. All right, I want to, since this is just slightly smaller than that page that I'm putting it on, I wanted to make sure that I had it centered. All right, so now that is fastened. And that actually counts as a flip as well. And since this other part will count as a flip, when I get done with it, I think I'll hold on until we do the flips page for that. But I did go ahead and get that pocket because the envelope counts as a pocket on there. And I'll be that much ahead of the game. Alrighty. And I don't know if we have any more flags left. Let's check it out. No more flags. So those are all of our pockets for today. Give me just a few minutes to get this straightened up and we'll check on our drying process. Let's go ahead and take out the remaining clothespins, which begin, except for that one, it's holding a piece together, or a piece in place. Fabri-Tac does dry really quickly. It's just sometimes I like to make sure that I've got that little extra time for it to cure. So there's that one. That one looks good. This is to be determined. And that was it. So our upholstery page is now dry at this step. So the next thing that I want to do is apply the lace that is going to go between the two edges of the pinking to soften that edge and to give it just a little more decoration since it is the center signature. So I am going to glue this down, making sure that yes, I have that glued down all the way. I'm going to come down to this corner and then pause the gluing in order to put the lace down. And this is the the lace that I want to keep dropping, apparently. This is the Dollar Tree lace. And it actually says on the packaging that it's made for Dollar Tree. So that's where you'll find it, although I'm sure you can find other lace other places. I just want to let you know where I got this one. And I'm going to cut this corner down here at a 45-degree angle. And then I will need to cut it the other direction, also at a 45-degree angle, because those two are going to butt up against each other. And I'm getting the lace glued on first. I am not trying to do the assembly of the page and the lace all at the same time, because I think that that is asking too much of the Fabri-Tac and of me to get all that done. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then, since we don't need to go all the way around because it's going to be a sandwich, we can go ahead and just snip that off right there at the center of the signature. And now I'm going to, while that side dries just a little bit, the length of time that it takes me to glue around this side will be enough for that to have cured. And then I can just push the two sides together and create that center signature pocket. So here goes. I am going to do my best to match up the top and then press the sides together, because the sides, if they're a little off, it won't show as much as it will at the top, because the top is just the raw edges together. Whereas the lace that I put in between the layers helps to hide the unevenness that the pinking is undeniably going to have. Have you ever tried to cut with pinking shears and get your cuts to match exactly where you want them to? It is nigh near impossible. And this will be a pocket that slides in from the top. We'll let that dry, and then we'll come back to it. All right, this should be dry now. So let's go ahead and start taking the clips off. Well, let me feel. If you feel it and it still feels, and it feels a little cold, That means that maybe it's not quite dry yet. And I still have some cold spots. But I'm going to be brave because I can come back and glue it. But I want you to see how that pocket looks all finished. So here's the pocket, and a tag will slip right down the top. Let me see if I just happen to have, I have a postcard. Obviously this postcard is not going to be tall enough. You would want a taller tag, but it tucks right in there, and that makes me happy. Today we went through and we made a bunch of different kinds of pockets. Some of them were very basic, so if you're a beginner journaler, I hope that you found them helpful. Some of them were a little trickier, and so if you're looking for some new ideas to try out in your journals, I hope you found those helpful. And I just want to remind you to be kind, always. Bye.